Well, good evening, fight fans. I just got finished watching the return of one-time Keith Thurman against the always tough Josesito Lopez. The fight ended in what would that be? A majority decision because two cards had Keith Thurman winning straight out, and one card was a draw. On Twitter earlier before the fight, I went in and put my prediction in. My prediction was a rusty Keith Thurman by unanimous decision because I know Josesito Lopez is a very tough competitor, and the fight proved to be so, and Josesito proved it throughout the fight. That seventh round was a great round. I was alert watching the fight, but that fight, put a little more juice in me. It was kind of exciting to see that Josesito had Keith Thurman on the ropes and almost had the opportunity to get him out of there, especially due to the fact that I gave Lopez very little chance to win his fight. The only chance I gave him was by knockout. If he would have caught Keith cold and caught him with some of that rust on him and would have got him out of there, whether it was early in the middle or late. Let's look at the pros and the cons. I'll start with Josesito Lopez. The pros is that his gas tank looked pretty good. He moved forward in most of the fight, which shows how he was putting pressure on Keith Thurman. He looked strong. He mixed his punches up, upstairs, downstairs. He actually fought a pretty good fight. He didn't have any quit in him at all. The negatives would be that his body still looks soft. He's always kind of had a soft-looking body, and tonight his body looked the same. He looked kind of soft in the body, and I thought that he could be due to get hurt in the body, even though that didn't happen. For Keith Thurman, the positives would be in those first few rounds, he looked fresh. He looked like he hadn't really missed that much time in the ring. What I mean is he had Josesito missing a lot of those punches in the first three rounds. He was slipping and ducking a lot of those punches. His feet still looked quick. He still showed that power. He boxed very well. He used the jab, and then he started putting power on Josesito. He was going to the body, even though I felt later in the fight, especially after that seventh round, he should have done more body work. But he looked relatively fresh. As far as the negatives go, I would say I don't like the fact that he still backs up against the ropes way too much for a fight on his skill level. The next thing I didn't like was when Josesito was hitting him with that straight right hand, Thurman kept moving to his left, which was putting him right in the way of that straight right hand that Josesito kept hitting him with. He was allowing himself to be hit with that overhand right that Josesito threw. And he also, I felt like he did not do enough body work for a man with not a great, strong body. I think he missed the opportunity to get him out of there later by not finishing him off in the body after that seventh round. Now, it was a beautiful check hook he caught him with in the second round when he put Josesito down. But we knew he was going to get up. He's a tough competitor. But all in all, it was a pretty entertaining fight. I wasn't disappointed, to be honest. All week, I had been saying, well, I'm not all that excited about Keith Thurman because he's been out of the ring so long. But once I saw him get in the ring and the bell rung, I was excited to see him again. And I hope he doesn't, pull another one of these, shoulder injury out of the ring for 18 months or however long he's been out of the ring. Stunts. He said he's going to fight later this year. By later this year, I hope he doesn't mean the end of the year. I'm hoping somewhere around the middle of the year, he's talking about getting in there again, maybe even in May or June, because he needs to really get that rust off of him. Now, at the end of the fight, they asked him what he wanted to do next. They brought up Manny Pacquiao's name because during the Fox commentary, they said that Thurman said his plan would be once he got past Lopez would be to fight Pacquiao. After Pacquiao, he would like to fight a rematch with Sean Porter. After Sean Porter, they brought up Errol Spence, and then after Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Look, that would be a pretty good lineup, but truth be told, he has to get some of that rust off. He has to get in there again pretty much as soon as he can heal up. If you saw how he looked, his face was bruised up and he had scratches all on the back of his back. I think that had to do with hitting the ropes as much as he did. The Pacquiao fight, I don't know. I suppose if Pacquiao has to fight somebody, he's going to fight somebody where he can make some money. I've made it known. I know some of you don't care for what I'm about to say, but, I'm not a real big fan of old legends, guys who are, well past 33 years old. In this case, Pacquiao is 40, really fighting, these young these still young lions. I think that Pacquiao needs to just go for a money fight. But if he fights Keith Thurman, based on what I saw against Lucas Matisse and what I saw last week against Adrian Broner, I definitely give Pacquiao a better than a shot to win that fight. Look, I'm not saying Pacquiao would win that fight against that much of a younger man, but if Pacquiao is going to fight Keith Thurman, now would be the time. Catch him while he's still rusty and, catch him early. Don't let Keith Thurman, dictate to, we're going to fight, I'll fight Manny, but, let's do it, in October, November. No, Manny needs to put the foot to the gas, boss up as a legend and say, no, we're going to fight when I say we fight, if I even allow you, to have that fight. But that's what the talk was. I actually would like to see Keith Thurman fight another tough competitor, somebody on the level of a Josesito Lopez before he even thinks about stepping his game up against somebody, in the upper class of the welterweight division. Pretty much, fight fans, that's it. I just want to get my thoughts on it. Give me your thoughts on it. It was a pretty good night of boxing. The undercard was pretty good as well. That's all I got. Catch y'all later.